Hello everyone, coming at you with all my might. It's my how you guys doing today? Today we're going to be assembling the Moto Hauler, the Mojo Moto Hauler from Mojo Motorsports. It's actually Mojo Motorsport. This is a jack hauler, so you lower it down and jack it up. So we're going to start the assembly process. What you're going to need is you need a ratcheting wrench, and you need a ratchet and a wrench, because you're going to have to hold the bolts and tighten them down at the same time. I'm going to be using an impact driver to speed things up. You're going to need a torque wrench to torque some stuff down. You need a 15/16 wrench or socket. That is going to be to put the hitch receiver bolt in, the threaded hitch receiver bolt. You're going to need a 9/16 wrench or socket, a 7/16 wrench and socket, a Phillips head screwdriver, and a 7/32 Allen key. Also, you need a 3/4 inch wrench and a deep well 3/4 inch. So let's get this started. So I already broke all of these down and put everything together. Basically, everything is going to have 2 or 4 washers on it. So these are the short ones, and we are going to take, before we get into that, there's 32 washers in this kit. All of the washers are the same with the exception of the 2 Allen keys. You're gonna have 2 smaller washers, and those are the only ones that have the small washers. So you're gonna be using the same washer, they're the same size on everything here. So our first step, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the T-post, and then we're going to take the motorcycle platform. You're gonna take these, it only goes on one way. You're gonna take this and put it on like this. So what you're gonna do then is you're going to take a bolt and a washer. Every time you put in, the washer is always going to be in contact with the powder coated surface. So bolt, washer, and then you're gonna put a nylock nut on. All right, so we're gonna put all of these on there. On these right here, you have 2 more in here. Now it's very important that on this hole, this one right here with the horizontal hole in it, it's very important that you take and make sure the head is down, because if you have it with the nut and bolt up, this bolt that you stick in here will end up crossing the top of the thread and it will bind. So always put this bolt down. So we're gonna fish that through there and push that down. All right, so now that we got all of these threaded in, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our 3/4 inch boxed end wrench on the back side, and I'm going to take my impact driver on the front side, and I'm just gonna snug these up. You wanna tighten them all evenly, and then you're gonna torque them down to 57 foot-pounds. All right, so make sure you go back over these with your torque wrench and torque these down to 57 foot-pounds. On to the next part. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take this bracket, the bottle jack bracket, and you're gonna take these 2 lower control arms. Now this is going to be placed like so. You're gonna have these 2 small holes connect to the bracket. Now on the inside of these holes is a chamfered part. The 7/32 Allen key bolt is going to go in there. So we're gonna take this and we're gonna push that through. Now in between, you're gonna take the small washer and you're gonna put a small washer in there. You're gonna put that through the bracket. Then you're gonna take a big washer, and then you're gonna take your nylock nut. So to tighten these down, we're gonna use a 9/16 socket and a 7/32 Allen key. You don't want to tighten this all the way down because this still has to move. This still has to move pretty freely. All right, once again, we're gonna take the bracket, we're gonna take our 7/32 Allen key bolt, we're gonna take a small washer, put that through the H bracket. We're gonna take a large washer and then a nylock nut. So the next part, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the hitch receiver, and there's a threaded bolt hole. We're gonna slide that into the vehicle. Then we're going to take the bolt, slide that through, and it's gonna then start to thread in. Now what you wanna do is over here, you're gonna slide this collar piece over top, and you're gonna jiggle that in. Because you don't want, once you start tightening that down, you won't be able to get that collar piece in there. Now you see, look at this. See how that wobbles? But since that's a threaded bolt, and there's a lock washer over here as well. So I'm just gonna run that in. And now it is solid. It's shaking the whole entire vehicle. So that's how they keep this from moving, and there's no rattle in there because of that threaded bolt. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take this bottle jack mount and the lower control arms, and we're gonna take this. All right, so I ended up having to loosen these a little bit so it moved freely. We're gonna take this and slide it very carefully over top of the hitch receiver. All right, so for the next part, we're gonna take one of the long boys. We're gonna take a washer, put that on there, and you're gonna take this and we're going to thread this through here, washer, plate, washer on the backside, and then this is gonna go and thread through this hole right up here. So you're gonna, I put too much bolt through. Stick that through here, then come around on the other side. We're going to put another washer, and then we're gonna take and put this plate over top. Then we're gonna take another washer, put that on there, and then your nylock nut. I'm gonna run this down some. You do not want to tighten this. Okay, so we just ran that down a little bit. It's still very loose. We still got some play in there. So our next step, we're going to take our motorcycle platform, and you're going to take another long bolt with 4 washers and a nylock nut. You're gonna take one of these arms, and it's gonna go up through like this. So you're going to take bolt with a washer through there. You're going to put another washer on that side. Then you're just gonna thread it through the middle of this T-post. Now this was the important part where I said make sure that that head was facing down, because if you were going to push this through, it would make contact if you had the nut and the bolt facing up. So we're going to push that through. We're going to put another washer on there. That's one's a little tricky. I'm going to get that washer on there and then push that through. Put another washer on. Nylock nut. Now I'm going to run this down, but not tighten. Okay, see, I can still spin that. That's still loose. All right, for our next part, we're going to take the 2 upper control arms, and you want the words facing out like so. Just like that. We're going to use 1 bolt with 4 washers and 1 nylock nut. You're going to take the bolt, put a washer on there, take your plate, shove it through, then you're going to take another washer, shove that on there, take this and put it through the top bolt on the hitch receiver, and then you're going to put a washer on there, Then you're gonna take your other part of the upper control arm, slap that on there with another washer. Then you're gonna take a nylock nut. I'm gonna run this down there a little bit, but I'm not gonna tighten it. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take and we're gonna attach the upper control arm to the bottom, to the top of the motorcycle holder here. So we're gonna take a bolt, the long bolt, with a washer. It's gonna go through the top of the upper control arm with a washer. Then this is gonna go through the motorcycle holder. So we're gonna just take this, I'm gonna put this on my leg here. Just gonna wheel that back out a little bit. Shove it through the top hole. Then on this side, you're gonna put a washer. I'm gonna back this out so I can get this other piece up there. Put that through the top hole. Then washer. Then you're gonna put a nylock nut on there. Now I'm gonna run this down, but I'm not gonna tighten it. All right, so now we have all of that in there. We're gonna take our lockout bolt and you're going to pick up on the motorcycle platform. And you see this hole right here? This hole is gonna line up with this hole. So you're gonna pick that up and you're gonna slide the lockout pin through there with the washer on the one side, and washer on this side, and I'm just gonna spin this on real quick a little bit. That's gonna make sure that this no longer falls. Now that we have everything in place, we're gonna tighten these down. We're gonna snug them up. You do not want to over tighten these because this still has to move freely. So we're gonna do the top, come down here to the middle one, just snugging them up. This is a big ratchet, or the inner side one. The bottom one. So now that we got those snugged up, we're gonna take, this is the anti-wobble pin. This goes underneath here, right here in this hole. So this hole is adjustable through back here. This bolt right here, if you were to unloosen this, you could take this and screw that in there and you can wiggle this free. If you do have to use the adjustment, you have to make sure that you retighten this nut back to 57 foot-pounds, just like the platform nut. So we're just gonna screw this in here. I already had this adjusted. And there we go, that's in there. All right, so what we're gonna do now is, this is the bottle jack mount, and we're gonna take the bottle jack clamp with the bolt and a washer. We're gonna stick that through and then washer on the back side with a nylock nut. So this is 7/16, so we're gonna tighten this down till the clamp no longer rotates in on the housing. So that's solid, it's not going anywhere. You're gonna take your bottle jack and you're gonna slide that into the clamp. So the next thing what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the bolt for the jack clamp, we're gonna slide that through and you're gonna have to pinch that and put your nylock nut on the other side. Now this is a 7/16 and a Phillips head screwdriver. So we're just gonna snug this up, but we're not going to tighten it down. That's snugged up, not tightened down. So now what we're gonna do is you're gonna take your jack handle and your jack. So this moves freely like this. We're gonna take this, you're gonna jack your jack up a little bit. You're gonna take this, and there's a pocket in here. You'll be able to feel with your finger, there's a pocket that's the same diameter as this peg. So you're gonna take, and you're going to align the jack. You're gonna pull the bottom up like that, and you're gonna pump this up. Don't pinch your fingers in there, but this jack will have a little bit of play for you to get this in there. You're gonna just jack that up until it makes contact and sits in that seat. Okay, there it is. All right, so once you have that in that seat, you're gonna jack up, put some pressure on that a little bit. You don't want to put too much. And now everything's seated. You're gonna snug up your jack clamp now on this. Now you don't want to put too much pressure on this. You're just snugging it up. You don't want to over tighten it because you will deform your clamp if you over tighten it. So there we go, we got that tight. That's ready to rock. So there you have it. Your Mojo Moto Hauler is fully assembled. You're ready to slap a bike on there. You have your handy dandy jack handle holster right there. That's where that goes. You can use your jack handle to tighten these down. Once you get them tight, you can either tighten them down with the nut, or you can use the jack handle. Same way with your lockout pins. So it's definitely a multi-tool. So there you have it. Everything's ready to rock. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget, there's a link in the description below for my affiliate link to the Mojo Moto Jack. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day, and God bless.